Hi guys, how are you doing today? Are you ready for new stories? I have 5 today. Let's go to the first crazy one about OP's friend who is threatening to sue OP because she deserves all OP's money after OP refused to support her and her child. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. So, one of the women in my friend circle, Jane, 24 female, whom I, 26 female, don't know well, gave birth a couple of months ago. She doesn't have a job, and her parents refused to help her because she cheated on her boyfriend of 3 years for 6 months before pregnancy. She then got pregnant and the side guy broke it off, sending her ex-boyfriend proof of their affair, pictures and intimate texts. When her boyfriend found out, he lost it and decided he didn't want anything to do with the kid. He works as a cashier, so he can't pay much child support. Jane decided to keep the child and asked friends to chip in to help her pay for expenses and rent. After her son's birth, Jane decided that her current studio apartment, which we have been paying for, wasn't good enough for her. She needed a better place because it was too small. All of our friends looked at me expectantly as I live alone in a 3-bedroom apartment and am the only one in our group with a stable and well-paying job. I gave in and let her live with me under the condition that she would take care of her son and do some of the chores, washing her own dishes, doing their laundry, etc. The last 2 months have been hell for me. She whines if I ask her to do anything, and even called me selfish and mean because I, at first, refused to take care of her child, who she is being paid to take care of. She forced me to take 3 leaves because she wanted to go out. This Monday, I woke up to get to work and found her gone, with a note on my fridge on how she needed a break and wouldn't be back till late. I called her and texted her, telling her that I couldn't take a leave or find a babysitter on such short notice. I decided to work from home and take care of the baby while she celebrated about starting a new chapter in her life. When she came back, I placed her son in her arms and gave her a month's notice, telling her to go find a new setting for her new chapter. She started crying and begged me to reconsider. I told her I was tired of being her bank account and that if she wasn't ready to take care of her own child, then she shouldn't have had one in the first place. I woke up to angry texts from our friends the next day. Jane has been guilt-tripping me since Tuesday. She's been complaining to friends and posting on social media about how some people don't understand single mother struggles. She said she deserved all my money and would sue me for it. I said good luck and told her I would stop paying for her necessities if she kept acting like this. That shut her up for now. I feel like I did the right thing, but I also think that I picked the worst time for this because of the pandemic. Am I the a-hole? Oh my God, OP is not an a-hole. Obviously, Jane is the worst, and OP needs to get her whiny butt out as soon as possible. And let's address the others in the friend group. OP's friends, expecting OP to financially support Jane, pressuring OP to do things OP is very uncomfortable with, harassing OP when OP has reached her limit. Is OP sure she wants to continue to be friends with these people? If OP's friends were all genuine, OP would have woken to text saying, "Oh my God, what happened? I need to hear your side of the story," rather than, "Oh my God, how could you? You awful person." A true friend would be looking to share the burden of supporting Jane, even if not financially. It's hard making new friends. I'm not saying it's as easy as cut them off and go out shopping for a new friend group. But I think OP needs to recognize that she has outgrown this group. OP has reached the next stage in life and has a job and money. They're frozen in middle high school drama. Edit. As a child, I was neglected by my parents and wasn't even close enough to them to talk to them about the weather. I didn't want Jane's son to have a crappy parent because I know what that's like. So I tried to help and maybe get Jane to realize that her son is the only person closest to her right now and she should take care of him. About our friend group. They've not listened to me at all and asked me if I really expected a new mother to work. I really don't know what's going on in their heads. They said that as I had had the resources to take care of them, it was my duty to. They haven't helped with Jane's bills since she moved in. Her baby's father is minimum wage. She won't reveal to me exactly how much she gets. She just said it wasn't enough to foot her own grocery bill. Pretty sure that isn't true. She also does D, I think. W mostly. Hopefully nothing illegal. I know I'm not in the wrong here, and am currently working with my lawyer to make sure that Jane can't take me to court. I have made it clear to her that I will call CPS if she pushes her son on me again. I will also be cutting my group off and kick Jane out as soon as possible. So, this is a really odd situation, for me personally, but somehow I'm the bad guy in all of this. This involves me, 28 female, my sister, 34, and my mom, 55. As a bit of info to add, my sister basically only ever speaks to our mom when she wants something, i.e., money or stuff for her kids. My mom has complained to me about this in the past, saying how much it hurts and upsets her, and how she feels unloved by my sister because of this. I don't have much of a relationship with my sister, as she rarely talks to me. We might as well be strangers at this point, and I'll admit it is hurtful to me. I've been going through a really tough time these past 5 years, and no one has really bothered with me or asked how I am. Sometimes it can get to me. Anyway, I recently received a gift voucher for something, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to use it. I told my mom about it, and she said my sister could benefit off it. I was reluctant due to my sister's habit of only bothering with family when she wants something, so I said we'll see, hoping that would be the end of it. Fast forward a few days later, and I get a text from my sister asking me how I was doing. I let my guard slip a bit and genuinely felt happy she was making an effort, only for her text to follow up with, "Yup, you guessed it, her own self-interest." Mom had told her about the voucher, making it sound like I was promising it to her. I don't know what came over me, but I burst into tears because I genuinely thought she wanted to know how I was. I know it sounds silly, but it hurt me for some reason. I texted her back saying, "Oh, so that's why you're messaging me." She tried to say how the voucher had nothing to do with her reaching out to me, but I knew it had everything to do with it. She then sent me a text, and I could practically hear the passive-aggressive guilt trip from the "don't worry about it" she sent me. I then texted Mom about it, and rather than back me up, she was on my sister's side, saying I was being unreasonable and that I've now made my sister cry. I told Mom that she's always complaining about my sister taking advantage of her, so how was I supposed to think? Especially when my sister always does this. But now, according to my mom, I'm the a-hole. Did I overreact, or am I definitely the a-hole? Or was I right in my actions? Not an a-hole. I totally understand why OP started crying. It's not silly at all to be hurt by thinking someone was caring about you, only to find out that they just wanted something from you. She got upset because manipulating OP didn't work, and so she's trying a different way to manipulate OP. OP should stand her ground and know that she deserves to be treated well, and OP's mother enables sister's behavior to keep the peace. To pay my way through law school, I ran a LSAT tutoring service, though I have since stopped offering this service. But that didn't stop my aunt from calling me up on Saturday, attempting to hire me to tutor her son. Even if I were still offering this service, there are multiple reasons I wouldn't take my cousin as a client. Firstly, and most importantly, my cousin is lukewarm at best at the idea of becoming a lawyer. Secondly, only one law school in my country requires the LSAT, and it is reconsidering whether to continue this requirement at all. Thirdly, my cousin is only 16, so his focus should be on his high school exams, and not an exam 4 years away that may not even be required. Despite this, my aunt was adamant I tutor her son. I offered to send her my old notes and call some of my students to see whether any of them would take my cousin on as a client, but she insisted it be me. Because my aunt wouldn't take no for an answer, I tried a different tactic, charging a rate of $500 per hour. I'm well aware that my time is not worth anything close to this stupidly outrageous rate, so I was hoping it would scare my aunt away. Well, it did, but just a bit too well. My aunt took offense to my offer and quickly transitioned from guilt-tripping me, "We're family. Family are supposed to support each other," etc., to being outraged. "You greedy, ungrateful little crap. Your parents didn't do their job with you, did they? Etc. I'm not sure what I'm being ungrateful about, as my aunt has never done anything for me. Regardless, I laughed at her and said $1,000 per hour then. My aunt fired off a few more choice words, then hung up. My mother called me a few hours later and asked if I were willing to apologize, send over the notes, and call my old students to keep the peace, as a favor to her. My mother is an angel, but she has let her family walk all over her entire life. And, frankly, I'm sick of letting her family walk all over me too. So I refused. My mother wasn't happy with my decision, but accepted it. And I thought that was the end of that. But earlier today, my aunt had the audacity to send me this text. Here's my email. Send me the notes. Maybe this wasn't the best decision, but I responded with this text. Here's my bank account details. The rate is now $1,500 per hour. So why do I think I'm the a-hole? Well, at this point, I'm just goading my aunt. That being said, I thought I was more than reasonable throughout this entire exchange. But maybe I should have just said no and been firmer on that stance. Am I the a-hole? Not an a-hole. OP's aunt sounds really entitled. OP offered her the notes in the beginning, but she declined OP's offer. After behaving like an entitled a-hole herself, she now expects OP to be willing to give her the notes for free. OP's aunt needs to learn that you don't insult someone or their parents if you want a favor from them. Context. Several months back, my ex-partner and I broke up. As our finances were inextricably intertwined, we deferred to family lawyers to separate our assets. My Uncle Robert referred me to a friend of his, a partner at one of the country's top family law firms, who offered me his services at cost as a favor to my uncle. My cousin Sam, Uncle Robert's nephew, works at this law firm as a paralegal, with aspirations to become a lawyer. I requested that Sam not be involved on my files, as I strongly prefer to keep my financial situation private. And last week, it came to my attention that various members of my extended family were gossiping about specific details of my finances. The altercation. That my aunties knew details, such as how much I am buying my ex-partner's share of our house for, information that not even my own parents are privy to, is damning evidence that Sam has somehow accessed my files. Given that I explicitly requested that Sam not work on the file, I can only assume he went into my file against orders. When I accosted Sam, he first denied everything, until I threatened to make a complaint. He then admitted to accessing my file against explicit instructions to the contrary, and gossiped about its contents to his mother, who in turn spread the gossip to her siblings. To say that I am livid is an understatement. In my anger, I told Sam I'm going to make that complaint regardless of his admission of guilt. Sam ran to his parents, who then quickly rallied the entire extended family to contact me in a bid to change my heart. To be frank, this has only fueled my anger even more, and what started out as an empty threat is now a legitimate consideration. Why I might be the a-hole. If I file the complaint, not only will Sam lose his job, he is likely to be ineligible to be admitted as a lawyer. It's been argued that the punishment doesn't fit the crime, and that my extended family already had a fair idea of my financial situation. So the damage my cousin inflicted was minimal, if any damage was done at all. Why I don't believe I am the a-hole. There's a difference between guessing at what my financial situation is and actually knowing it. As someone who is obstinately vague about his finances to his family, this difference matters to me. Also, if Sam is to be punished for his actions, it is he who brought this on himself, not me. I don't have the power to fire him or ban him from the legal profession. Am I the a-hole? Not an a-hole. That's a huge violation and, illegal. I don't think Sam deserves to be a lawyer if he's willing to violate clients like that, even if they're family. Our twins are H and E, both 19. Hannah decided to get pregnant when she was 17. She decided to keep the baby, and she lives at home, attends community college, and she receives an allowance so she can study and stay home. And we, Mom and Dad, pay for all of her necessities and the baby's as well. We love her deeply, and our grandchild as well. but we're not willing to be a free daycare service. We pay her $3,000 monthly so she could budget if she wanted a babysitter. And we're unwilling to raise a fifth child. We have lives and things to do, not raise a child for her. Eleanor goes to a West Coast major party school. She got herself a full ride. She joined a sorority, and she's got this hot party girl image going for her alongside her 4.0. We don't pay her as much allowance, and she often sends it back because she has a successful side business. She doesn't really visit, but she texts sometimes, and according to my youngest, 17, she has a fire social media. Eleanor is independent and an adult, and so we leave her alone because she's made it clear that she doesn't want us trying to interfere in her life. Eleanor refused to help with the baby when he was born, and we backed her up because it wasn't her responsibility. Eleanor had Hannah blocked on social media because she didn't want Hannah snooping and tattling, and Hannah made a fake account so she could still watch. Eleanor and Hannah are practically no contact because Eleanor told us that she didn't want to deal with being guilt-tripped and treated badly by her own sister because she made mistakes and became a teen mom. Hannah came to us this morning and said that we were punishing her for having a child and showed us Eleanor's social media and how Eleanor has friends and goes out and has a fun life right in the center of it all, while she's home in the middle of nowhere. Our youngest just got invited to visit Eleanor next week on break, and Hannah is extremely upset that she has to stay home and hasn't been offered the opportunity to go see Ellie. She hasn't gone to a big school. She didn't get to join a sorority, and she hasn't been able to experience life like she's seeing her sister do. I told her that she wasn't being punished for having a child, but that she forfeited the ability to do all those things when she decided to raise a child. We were providing for her. We'd given her the opportunities that we could give her. And she was receiving $5,000 monthly from 2 sources. She became extremely upset and began posting on Facebook and calling family members. And I've been receiving calls telling me to be a mother and raise my grandson. But again, I've been telling them that I'm done and that it sucks that I hurt Hannah's feelings, but she asked for the truth. Am I the a-hole? Hannah gets $60,000 a year and is complaining about what she can't have. She made her choices. She has to live with them. Not an a-hole.